Hello, hello, hello. We are back. We got the tank on the stand. You can see there's the drainage PVC piping right there. We're gonna go ahead and start the plumbing process. I got the sump here. Just come over here in the kitchen area where I'm doing the work. It's a Sunday morning for me. So I got my PVC glue. You can see right here, rain or shine, medium glue PVC cement. I went ahead and cemented the part here. Actually just stuck it in there. So what I did was I unscrew this. You just want to get all that goo inside, put some over the PVC portion out here on the outer portion, and just go ahead and just stick it in the inner portion here in the bulkhead. You just want to make sure you get a lot of that in there, make sure it's nice and tight. I went to get ahead and got some white plumber's tape right there and ensured that there was not going to be any leakage here. So I just wrapped it around the threads, went ahead and just screwed that on. But I actually screwed that on first before I actually put this into the bulkhead and glued it, cemented it into the bulkhead. So you want to do this portion first because you don't want to compromise this portion in any way, because it's still nice and soft and you got to give it time for it to fully cure. I went ahead and threaded, put some white tapes over the threads on these barb fittings. I already got them in the bulkheads right there. This black PVC piping is actually going to go in here like so. Let's see if I can show you right there. Whoa, there you go. So it's going to be like that. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. It's going to go in like so, like that, and that's what's going to keep the water from making that splashing sound. You want to put some sort of piping. You can make it lower if you want, but that way when the water comes up, it's just actually in the water. You're not hearing much of any splashing or anything whatsoever. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and just get all the plumbing taken care of, and then I'll start hooking up machinery and stuff like that, like the return pump, so I can start actually testing the bulkheads to make sure there's no leaks whatsoever. And this tank itself, the return line itself is already basically glued and screwed in all together with the vinyl tubing already mounted. So I don't want to try to crack anything by turning it loose or anything. I can see that they glued it tight. So I have to now see and make sure that that barb fitting doesn't leak. I don't know, hopefully it doesn't, but worst case scenario is me getting another bulkhead with and a new barb fitting, and I'll just white tape that stuff myself and make sure it's all nice and stuff. I usually like to do things like that myself, but in this case it was already pre-done. So hope for the best, but either way, we're gonna get this all connected up and everything, and I'm gonna decide on how I wanna lay the sump out in the system as well before I start attaching any vinyl tubing or anything of what sort. Okay, all right guys, I'll be back. All right guys, so I have the bulkhead here. I already unscrewed the bottom portion of the bulkhead. So for you guys that haven't installed the bulkhead to a sump, it's basically pretty simple, pretty easy. You know, sometimes they come already pre-installed, sometimes they come like this where you got to install the bulkhead and everything yourself, if not just tighten it a little bit more. So you're going to take the bottom portion off of the bulkhead. I've not said that twice. You're going to go ahead and just take your PVC pipe, put that in there. I never glue it because this has to be removable. You want to be able to take this off and for some case if you need to switch something up, or if it's not too long, or you know, you just want to just push it in there, just make it nice and tight. And then you want to just make sure the gasket is still up in this section here on the top portion, because you want to make sure that's what's going to create the seal up on top when you actually thread this bottom portion back in. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this like this, put the pipe through the bottom portion, start threading it. Start threading it tight. Just holding the bottom portion like so. Pretty basic, pretty simple. And you're just going to just keep going until it's nice and tight. I can start twisting the other side now. Just make sure that gasket's in place. There it is. And then I know this is a little bit of a tight fit, but I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that this bulkhead is nice and tight. pretty tight. Let me just give it a little twist. Never want to twist too much. We just want to go little by little. You don't want to crack anything. If you can still manually twist it by hand, that means it's pretty much not tight enough. So just give it a little bit more of a twist. Just a little. Pretty sure we got a nice solid seal. Yep. Okay. And that's it. You can see it. I got it in, and yeah. Now my next step is basically gonna just take this. I'm gonna take the sump, put it in there, and I'm just gonna mess with it and see what I'm gonna do with it and see if I like where it's gonna sit. Then I'm gonna go ahead and attach the lines. I'm gonna go ahead and do the woodwork and start, closing up the back of the cabinets. And like so, it's gonna be pretty simple, pretty basic. All right, guys. So just showing you the inside of the overflow. So you can see this is what's gonna connect right here. This is the return. So this is actually gonna go in here, and you can see there's the lines right there that are basically gonna shoot out the return water from the sump. And this right here, I'm not gonna actually put in. I'm just gonna bend it down like this after I put the bulkhead in with the PVC fitting, and I'm just gonna test it out with some water and just make sure it's all good. Once it's all good, and then I'll slide this portion, this longer piece of piping, back into this bottom portion here. I'm gonna thread this portion in the bulkhead, and that way I can go ahead and test it and just make sure there's no leaks. Once I know there's no leaks, and then I'll put the PVC piping in, and then I'll go ahead and thread this portion into the fitting here, and then that way we're all good. But that way I can just test out. I just want to make sure the bulkheads and nothing's leaking. You can always put the bulkhead in a certain amount of water, just cap it from the bottom if you want, and see if it's holding water. Yeah, you can do it that way, but then the gasket itself, I just want to make sure that there's no leaks, because there's always that possibility of a leak, and the last thing I want to do is fill this up and have water draining in here, and this is almost fully submerged, and it's just gonna create such a headache just to try to get that all drained down. And the last thing you want to do is get frustrated, because once frustration kicks in, you're not going to be thinking correctly in some cases on what to do, or those what if factors. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get this all tightened up, and I'm going to go ahead and put the bulkhead in there and get that all tightened up also and stuff, so we can do a water test. All right, so I decided to go ahead and I am going to keep the sump in this position, and I'm going to go ahead, you're looking at the couch through the back end, sorry about that, but I'm going to go ahead and put the plywood and probably put it up about maybe close it off maybe 7 inches above it, just so hosing or anything that needs to come across it and stuff can just easily come through. I'm gonna go ahead and put some black padding or vinyl padding on the back side here, so you can't see through the sump on the back side of it, blacken it out. And I'm gonna go ahead and just put a piece of board up there, and I'm not gonna do the enclosure on the left side here. I'm gonna keep this open, so in case I get any hosing, I might get a 90 fitting here and just reconnect this to the 90, screw it in here into the bulkhead, so that way the hosing for the Achilles tank can come into here, and then this drainage right here, nothing's tight, it's just in there but nothing's tight, can come into here like so, and then I can of course adjust the return pump to ensure that whatever is going into the overflow is not overflowing and draining enough so where it's coming down through here, because you can obviously see I closed it up pretty from a 1.5 inch to a 1 inch barb fitting. So yeah, and that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just unbox the M2, place the M2, and maybe even undo the protein skimmer and start connecting the computer components just to see where I may want them at. So other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and just start attaching the plywood and everything, and we'll be back. Okay guys, so now I'm back over here. I already got the M2 connected. Sorry, it's a little dark in here, but you can see there's the pump. I went ahead and connected the vector controller right there. See right here, so what I'm doing here is basically what I did in the frag system. I'm gonna go ahead and block out the back, and I'm gonna block out the side portion here, and I'm just gonna leave this clear on this side and on this end here, so that way you don't get to see the wires and everything dangling from behind, because I'm just gonna just drop them in the back. They'll be going up here, and then they'll be probably just coming out through the back end over here, and they're gonna come out through that hole right there. So I went ahead and put in the plywood, as you can see. So the plywood's in, and drilled out the hole socket right there. I got the outlet bar here. So the energy bar is going to be right here, or the power bar is going to be there, and then there's going to be another one here and another one here, and the other two that are going to be there are going to be from the Proflex unit itself. So I got one and I got two of the energy bars and stuff to power up systems. I'm going to go ahead and pre-program this, not the probe itself. That will be, you know, I will be having to calibrate that when I obviously put that into the water, and that's just the best way to do it. I'm not going to calibrate it and put it back into fluid and let it sit for the remainder of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and install this. I'm just trying to think of placement, but I am going to put the power bars in, and I'm going to go ahead and determine where I'm going to place what. I'm going to go ahead and take out the protein skimmer and get that set and put that in here, because I just want to make sure that I got efficient room for everything that I'm going to need, because I'm just going to place a little bit of Rebel Life rock around this area here, and maybe a little bit under this area here, so when the water falls down here, it can just simply just pour over itself and do its thing. And once in a while I'll, you know, siphon out the sump like I usually do when it comes to cleansiness, so no detritus builds up on the bottom here. So that is what I'm going to be doing right now, and we'll be back. Okay guys, so now we're back. You can see I installed the power bars, the GHL computer, everything, the Proflex 4. It's all set. You can see the lights are all on right there, except for, you know, S1, which is this one right here, which is for temperature, but I'm going to switch this one also to temperature, so that one's gonna, that light, blue light's going to be off. So they're all on. It's programmed for whatever it needs to be programmed to, basically just temperature, and it's going to be monitoring my pH also, and controlling what I need to control, and anything else that I put on this thing in the future. But other than that, got those in. So you see the wires dangling here, but I'm going to drill a hole like right behind there, so then this wire just goes in the back, so you won't see it coming down. These are just dangling obviously here for, you know, the purpose of just powering everything up. And you can see I got the cabinet light in. This is the brand I love for cabinetry. It's just a simple light. It's about $20-something or so, and maybe less than that actually. It works great. You got the control up there. Turn it off and on, and it's hidden. I got it all up here, up on top right here. It's great. Lights up everything good. It's got options for, you can see right here for colorization. I can change it blue, you know, warm white, and just white itself. And you can turn up the volume of the lighting up and down, the intensity. So yeah, so now I got the Bubble Magus protein skimmer. It's the Curve 7 Elite. It's right here. Looks nice, looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this all connected. Well, not connected, but just put together, and I'm gonna go ahead and just place it in there. And I'm not gonna hook up any hosings or anything just yet, but I will to test out the water supply here, and then I'm just gonna disconnect the vinyl tubings after I test the water circulation. The reason why I'm gonna test the water circulation is because I can let water sit on top of the tank up here, but I'm not, because I want to see it with, you know, water circulating. I want that pressure to be going, forcing it to go down. You know, it's just to make sure that there's no leaks whatsoever. And yeah, it's pretty much getting dark over here now. It's just, you know, time goes by quickly when you're connecting and setting up some things and stuff. But all of this is going to be running through the back right there, and it's gonna look nice and clean. You won't see much of anything, and the cords are gonna be going from behind. You might see a few cords dangling from the bottom here or whatever. I'm just depending on, you know, it's gonna be the dosing unit. I'm thinking of connecting the dosing unit there. I don't know where to connect the UV just yet. I just wanna mount the more important things that I have set for during the transfer. I'll probably set the UV sterilizer afterwards, but dosing unit comes in first, and then I'm gonna hook the MPs and stuff right here. As you can see, I'm gonna black it out. As soon as I get more of this stuff delivered to me through Amazon, I'm gonna go ahead and black out the back right there. And this side, like I said, everything's gonna be clear, but looking good. Had this GHO sitting in the closet for quite a while, and it was bound to be connected, and now it's connected, so works great. And I'll be back and I'll have this thing connected, and I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. But let's see this protein skimmer in the sun. All right guys, so there's the Bubble Magus protein skimmer. There's the Curve 7 Elite right there. You can see it looks very nice, very clean, very sleek. Obviously gonna keep it on this section here, and I'm probably gonna put my nitrate reactor there. I'm just gonna see what's going on. These mesh filter socks, I'm gonna take these out. I'm gonna put some different types, maybe like those Red Sea ones, where those cups right there, the strainer cups, where I can probably put a carbon bag in there and let it do its thing. But other than that, here it is. This is what I'm showing you for right now, and this concludes this video, and we will be back next time, hopefully with a good old tank transfer, and we'll see what's going on. All right guys, peace. This is the Herm, just giving you a little bit of a quick look on what's going on with this system and the progress and my ideas on what I'm going to be doing for the long term for this reef system here. All right guys, peace.